I am Zephyr Daniel. I am 38 years old and work as a teacher in a small town near Denver, Colorado. On the night of August 15, 2025, I passed away in my kitchen from the new storm flu that has been spreading everywhere. You hear about it all the time now. The news talks about how fast it moves and how it stops your breathing like someone turned off a light switch. I know this because I helped take care of the first sick people who came to our local clinic with it. I never thought it would happen to me too. My life was nothing fancy. It was real though. It was built on long days teaching kids, grading papers until late at night, and the chalk dust that always seemed to stick to my clothes. I was married to my wife Rachel for 15 years. We have 2 children, a daughter named Star who just turned 16, and our younger son River who is 8 years old. My world was about paying bills, going to school plays, and falling asleep while reading books on the couch. I believed there was something bigger than us out there, but my prayers had become quick whispers I would say while washing dishes, feeling tired and rushed. The flu hit me like a truck. I felt okay that morning. By lunch, my throat was scratchy. By 6 in the evening, it felt like I was trying to breathe underwater. Rachel was calling for help on her phone. I remember seeing River peeking around the corner, his small face full of worry. That was the last thing I saw with my real eyes. My son looking scared. Then there was this feeling like a balloon popping inside my chest. Not a noise, but a feeling of something letting go. All at once, the pain was gone. The fire in my lungs, the hammering in my head. It all just stopped. I was floating up near the ceiling. I looked down and saw myself lying on the kitchen floor. I saw Rachel trying to help me breathe, tears running down her cheeks, calling my name over and over. Zephyr, Zephyr, please stay with me. I felt strangely peaceful. There was no fear at all. It was like watching a movie about someone else's life. The emergency people came running in. They put those electric paddle things on my chest and I watched my body jump, but I felt nothing. The sounds of them working, the yelling, the beeping machines, it all started to get quieter like someone was slowly turning down the sound on everything. Then it all went silent and black. But it wasn't a scary kind of dark. It was like being wrapped in the softest blanket you could imagine. Everything disappeared. No time, no thoughts, no body. I didn't feel like Zephyr anymore. I just existed. I have no idea how long I was there. Could have been 1 second or a million years. Then something changed. I didn't see light. I felt music. Think of the most beautiful song you've ever heard. A song so perfect that it contains every happy memory you have. The warmth of summer sunshine. The feeling of holding a newborn baby. The first time someone told you they loved you. All of these feelings were held in this one perfect sound that wasn't just around me but inside me. The darkness started to melt away, not into brightness but into something that felt alive. Then I saw him, but seeing isn't the right word. I felt his presence. He was standing there, but he wasn't made of light like you see in pictures. He was made of that beautiful music I heard. He looked like a man, but it was like looking at a song that had taken the shape of a person. The space around him didn't get brighter. It got clearer. Everything became more real, more solid, more itself than anything had ever been when I was alive. He wasn't wearing fancy robes or had a glowing circle around his head. His clothes were simple. But his eyes weren't just looking at me. They were like windows. When he looked at me, I didn't feel like he was judging my mistakes. I felt like he was showing me who I really was. It was like my whole life I had been a musical instrument that was slightly out of tune. And the moment he was near me, I suddenly played the perfect note. Every bit of shame, every time I messed up, every moment I told myself I wasn't good enough, it all disappeared. Not because he said it was okay, but because with him there, those bad feelings had never been real to begin with. They were just noise I had picked up along the way. I didn't cry. I didn't fall down. I just stood there, finally able to breathe properly for the first time in my life. Every part of me was humming with one huge truth. I was home. His voice didn't come through my ears. It was like a thought that bloomed in my heart, and it felt more familiar than my own name. He said just one word, Zephyr. But when he said it like he remembered the day I was created. He said it with all the hopes and dreams he ever had for me inside of it. Finally the tears came, not from sadness, but from a relief so big I couldn't put it into words. I was so tired I thought back to him. He smiled and it felt like the whole universe was smiling with him. I know you have been carrying so much weight, he said. He didn't step closer, but suddenly we were somewhere else. He was showing me something. I saw the earth below us, but it was covered with something that looked like thick gray buzzing cloth made of static from old TV sets. It was ugly. It was chaotic, angry noise that you could see. I could feel the bad energy coming from it. Fear, fighting, anger, jealousy. It was so thick it was choking out the planet's light. This is the noise, he said, and his voice was full of deep sadness. It is what distracts everyone. It is meant to make you all feel alone, to make you forget the song you all share. I watched as the static crackled and spit. I saw news shows feeding it, people in charge feeding it, people fighting on their phones, typing mean words to people they didn't know. They were all making this static worse, making the blanket thicker and heavier. What is it? I asked. It is fear, he said simply. Fear of your neighbors, fear of tomorrow, fear of not having enough stuff. Fear is the sound that drowns out my voice. The enemy has made the world very, very noisy. My heart felt broken. I felt how hopeless it all seemed. It was too much. The noise was everywhere. But look closer, he said gently, his voice like a warm hand on my back. I looked harder, and at first I saw nothing, but then I saw a tiny dot of golden light poke through the gray static. It was small, but it was pure. I saw a man in a work uniform stop on a busy street and give his sandwich to a homeless person. Light shot from his heart. Then I saw another, a young boy in his room texting a classmate who was being picked on. He wrote, "You matter. Don't listen to them." A golden thread of light flew from his phone. I saw more and more. A grandmother in Japan praying for a child she didn't know in Africa. A daughter visiting her sick mother in the hospital just to hold her hand. A man choosing to forgive the person who had stolen from him, letting go of the anger in his heart. Each action wasn't big. They were tiny, quiet, almost invisible. But every single one was a note of perfect music that cut through the noise. And I saw that these little lights, these golden threads, were connecting to each other. They were making a web, a network of light underneath the heavy blanket of static. It was beautiful. It was a secret, quiet song of love. "Do you see?" he asked me. "The noise is loud, but the light is real. One act of true selfless love is stronger than 1,000 voices of hate. It creates a vibration that heals the world. What happens next is not a story that has already been written. It is a song you are all creating together, one note at a time." He showed me what was coming. He showed me a time when the noise would get even louder, so loud that it would feel like the world was tearing itself apart. He showed me sickness and fighting and a deep confusion that would settle over everyone. The static would become so thick, so blinding that people would forget there was even such a thing as hope. But then he showed me the network of light. He showed me that as the darkness grew, the light did not get smaller. It became clearer. The people who carried the light, the ones choosing love instead of fear, would start to find each other. Their network would grow stronger, their song more powerful. It wouldn't be a war fought with weapons, but with kindness, with patience, with forgiveness. The world will be saved by the small, quiet choices you make every day, he told me. Do not get distracted by the noise of the powerful people. Listen for the whisper of love in your own heart. That is where you will find me. That is where the real power lives. I watched this huge battle between the buzzing static and the golden song. And I understood. All my life I thought I needed to do something big and important. But he was showing me that the big things were actually the small things. I looked at him, my heart so full it felt like it might explode. I never wanted to leave, ever. The thought of going back to the noise, to the tired body, to the fear, it was too much to bear. "Please," I begged him silently. "Please let me stay. I'm ready. I don't want to go back." He looked at me and his eyes were filled with a love so deep it felt older than time itself. It wasn't a sorry for you kind of love. It was a love that understood everything. "My dear child," he said, and the music of his voice washed over me. "Your part of the song is not finished. Star still needs to learn how to hear her own music. River came to this world to be a light, and he needs his parent to show him how to shine. Rachel's heart is connected to yours. You must go back." "But I don't know how," I cried out. "I don't know how to fight that noise. It's too much." "You don't have to fight it," he said softly. "You just have to sing your note. Love your family. Be kind to the stranger at the store. Forgive the person who is rude to you in traffic. Pray for people who hurt you, not for them to be punished, but for them to be healed. Each time you choose love instead of fear, you make the network of light stronger. You make my song louder on earth. Go back and love them, Zephyr. Just love them. That is your job." He held out his hand, not to touch me, but just as an offer. The thought of leaving him, of leaving this perfect place, was the most painful thing I have ever felt. A cry of pure grief tore through my soul. It felt like I was being ripped in half. "I am always with you," he promised. "Just listen for the music underneath the noise." And then a shock, a horrible, violent, painful jolt. It felt like lightning hitting my chest. My whole being was sucked backwards, pulled through a screaming whirlwind of chaos. The perfect harmony was replaced by a terrible roar. My eyes shot open. The light was blinding, fluorescent, awful. There were faces above me, people in medical clothes, their mouths moving, but I couldn't understand them. A tube was stuck down my throat. My chest felt like an elephant had stepped on it. Someone was shouting my name. It was a doctor. Zephyr, can you hear me? Squeeze my hand. Squeeze my hand. I felt a hand in mine and I squeezed weakly. The room exploded in shouts, cries of amazement. I looked to my side and saw Rachel. Her face was white, her eyes red and wide with shock. She was holding my other hand so tight it hurt. "Oh my God, Zephyr," she sobbed. "Oh my God." They told me later what happened. I was gone, completely dead for 18 minutes. My heart had stopped beating. They had used the electric paddles on me 5 times. The head doctor had given up. He had told Rachel, "I'm sorry. We tried everything we could." They were actually writing down the time I died when my heart, for no medical reason they could find, just started beating again. They said I should have serious brain damage, but I have none. They said my lungs, destroyed by the flu, should be scarred and barely working. 3 weeks later, my test results were almost completely normal. My doctor calls it a sudden, miraculous healing. He uses fancy medical words, but when I look in his eyes, I see that he doesn't understand it. But I do. I came back with a message. It's not a complicated one. I wasn't told who would be the next president or when the world would end. The message is this: there is a place of perfect peace, perfect love, and perfect music waiting for us. But we don't have to wait until we die to experience it. I was asked to tell you that the noise you hear every day, the anger on the news, the fear on the internet, the fighting in our world, it's a lie. It's a distraction meant to make you forget who you are. You are a note in the perfect song. And you are being asked to play your part. You don't have to be famous. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be kind. Turn off the TV. Put down your phone. Look the person next to you in the eyes. Forgive someone who doesn't deserve it. Help someone without telling anyone about it. Be a quiet, secret spark of light in the world. Because right now the world is very, very noisy, and the only thing that can break through the noise is love. It's the only thing that's real. He's listening for you. He's waiting for you to add your note to his song. And I promise you, he hears it every single time you choose love.